Hey guys, welcome to this video. It is called 8 games that I think deserve sequels. It's about, as it says in the title, it's about games that I think deserve sequels that may have not already got one, or we choose to ignore them anyway. But I'll stop rambling now anyway, and here's the video.
Number 8.
At number 8, we have ZombiU, a Wii U exclusive launch title made by Ubisoft, hoping that they can hitch a ride on the iPrint Money Machine Express that the Wii U was supposed to be. But we all know how that's going so far, don't we? Until the next Smash Bros. Yeah, okay, we get the point. Super Smash Bros. Is coming out at some point, but for the 3DS first. ZombiU is made by the same branch of Ubisoft that has been in charge of many childhood classics, such as Beyond Good and Evil, the very first Rayman game on the PlayStation 1, and they've even continued with the Rayman series up to the most recent Rayman game, Rayman Legends. On paper, this game sounds like it should have been amazing. Well, it's actually just kind of meh. The game successfully made every corner look suspicious, and one of the things I enjoyed most about the game was that it felt real. Compared to the other zombie games, the zombies were actually harder to kill, and it was easier to get engrossed in the game as it felt like I was actually the character. I don't think in a zombie apocalypse I'd be the one jumping around headshotting every zombie that looked at me weirdly, yet that is one of the problems ZombiU has, is that it's an oversaturated genre, to the point that I've actually started wanting a game where you play as a zombie instead. I wonder if there is such a game. The game did have flaws, but then every game has flaws. One of the flaws that I found was that each character, no matter how random they are, had no personality whatsoever. The character could look like Ronald frickin' McDonald and still have the personality of Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy. The game also wins the award for being the most stereotypical view of Britain ever. The only melee item is a cricket bat that literally does not wear out or snap. All you needed was recovery items to be scones and jam with a side of tea. Other problems, such as the controls being too cumbersome and having no form of online, dampened the experience for me. However, these could all be fixed in a sequel, which could make it a whole lot better. Ubisoft has said that they were working on a prototype for a sequel, but it was later scrapped when it was said that ZombiU wasn't profitable enough and would not be getting a sequel. But I'll be damned if it doesn't deserve one. I suppose it's not all bad news. Ubisoft could actually get somewhere with Beyond Good and Evil 2.
50. Number 7.
At number 7, we have The Last Remnant, a brand new RPG from Square Enix that didn't contain the word final, and also didn't contain the word fantasy in the title. Many JRPG fans were excited at this idea of a new game from the Final Fantasy developers. It couldn't be a bad thing, could it? The Last Remnant was produced and developed by Square Enix for release exclusively on the Xbox 360 console in 2008. However, the game was also released on PC and Steam in 2009. There also was a supposed PS3 version on the way, but sadly that port never came to light. The combat system was something completely different from what Square Enix had done with the previous JRPG titles. The game used a blend of turn-based and command-based combat, getting rid of random encounters which were a staple of previous Final Fantasy games. Despite their best efforts, The Last Remnant received mixed reviews. These were mainly due to the performance issues that the Xbox 360 version of the game experienced, such as framerate lag and graphical issues. This was contrasted with the much higher reviews that the PC version of the game received. That's presuming that the PC version worked as intended. There is a silver lining in this mediocre cloud though. A sequel for this might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. The director of the game, Hiroshi Takai, answered a fan's question of a possible PS4 or PC sequel by saying, "If I get enough requests." This could be a sign of hope for a game that shouldn't be a remnant of the past. Get it? Remnant.
Number 6.
Number 6 is a game from Rareware. the company that gave us classics such as Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Star Fox Adventure was originally conjured up as a completely different game following brand new characters. That is, until Shigeru Miyamoto walked in, slapped Fox McCloud on the cover and shouted "Eureka!" But who am I to argue with Shigeru Miyamoto? He's obviously doing something right. While many people don't consider Star Fox Adventure as part of the main series, I can honestly say it is my favourite Star Fox game. I like to think of it as a spin-off, as it doesn't focus on the flying, unless you're flying to a different world in the game, but that short 5-10 minutes is real Star Fox material, honestly. Things go pal, there's barrel rolls. We know how much Star Fox fans love their barrel rolls. A sequel could expand more upon the solar systems that they travel through, enable different types of combat through staff or flight, or just expand on what they already have. And it would also keep the Star Fox series in people's memory. It's been a long time since there's another Star Fox game, and I'm starting to get the feeling that people are forgetting about it. Sadly, a sequel being led by Rare would be very doubtful, as they now work with Microsoft as a first-party developer, making the games that the masses want, and that they also need.
Nobody ever brings me gifts anymore!
Number 5.
An action RPG created for the PlayStation 3 in 2007 by the now defunct Game Republic. At number 5, we have Folklore. The game was helmed by Yoshiki Okamoto, who is responsible for many games that we deem classics these days, such as Resident Evil and Street Fighter 1 and 2. The best way to describe this game, to me, is a good mix between Pokemon and Kingdom Hearts, in that you capture little monsters called folks and then use them to punch the shit out of other shit. Oh, and it's not turn-based. Sounds badass, am I right? Did I mention that you also rip out their fucking spirits?
What?
Yeah, this game is intense. The mythological land that you explore is beautiful, full of life and colour, and contains out-of-this-world animals. Or as we like to call it, Island. The Netherworld is pretty cool too, suppose. A sequel for this game would be great. It would be easy to expand on the Netherworld and introduce more folklore for the player to explore, while also improving the combat and allowing the player other options while fighting. However, it seems that this list is doomed to sequels that may only be in dreams. There is a layer of problems for this game. The developer that made the first game, as I mentioned before, has went defunct and is no longer together. As well as that, while the game had scored favourably with critics, it didn't seem to strike a chord with the consumers and failed to meet expectations, sales-wise obviously. A sequel was in the makes for the PlayStation Portable, or even a download-only sequel much like Alan Wake's American Nightmare. Sony were reluctant to greenlight the sequel, especially when it failed an internal review.
Number 4.
This game is one of the higher points of playing co-op with someone. I could play this game for hours upon hours, just attempting to collect everything. Number 4's Bugs Bunny and Taz Time Busters was created by Artificial Mind and Movement. However, they are now known as Behavioural Interactive, having made the Naughty Bear games under this name. Bugs and Taz Time Busters is an indirect sequel to Bugs Bunny Lost in Time, another game made by Artificial Mind and Movement. The game was released in 2000 for the PlayStation and PC. The game focused on Warner Brothers' star characters Bugs Bunny and Taz the Tasmanian Devil, pairing both of them together and requiring that the player uses both characters' different attributes to beat up the bad guys, or to just play some minigames. The bongo minigame was always my favourite as well. Don't know why, it just seemed to work. All the while keeping the normal Looney Tunes feel to it. The characters have special traits, such as Bugs being able to dig underground or use items, while Taz, just in general, being stronger, allowing him to move massive blocks that Bugs otherwise couldn't move. It's been long overdue for a good Looney Tunes game to be released, so could we please have one? Even just a little one? Please?
Rabbit, time to go. Your first objective.
Number 3.
Another Square Enix game? No! See, it even says so when it starts. This was before the merger between Squaresoft and Enix. Number 3's The Bouncer was Square's first venture into the PS2 gaming scene. Released in 2000, the game is actually co-developed by Squaresoft, one half of the company that is now known as Square Enix and a Japanese developer called Dream Factory. The Bouncer was a normal styled beat 'em up game, but had a bit more character than the other types of beat 'em ups. To me, the story had quite a bit to offer, but should definitely be expanded upon. Such as, why don't they feel worried about the fact that a panther is running free in the city? Why do they also ask the main character, does he know the panther? Does he like talk to a lot of animals? And what the fuck is going on with his face? Why does he have horns? And also, what's happening with the guy on the left? Seriously, he looks like he's having too much fun at this while everyone seems to be a bit. The biggest letdown I think was the short story mode. I can see that they tried to take it somewhere, but it just needed more substance. The lackluster multiplayer modes also hurt. It hurt me in places that I would talk about if I had friends. Also, the character artist was Nomura. You may know him from the Kingdom Hearts series or even the upcoming Final Fantasy 15. The main character bears a resemblance of someone. I just can't quite put my finger on it though. The story choices were a good addition in that you could have different conversations, meet different characters and fight stronger characters than you would have if a different choice had been made. Truly the PS2 days were the best of days. I wanna go back!
Number 2.
Imagine a game that's like Grand Theft Auto, but isn't Grand Theft Auto. This is essentially what Bully was. At number 2, Bully was created and developed by Rockstar Vancouver. Bully was one of the only games that they developed, the other being Max Payne 3, until the studio was shut down and merged with another Rockstar studio. Bully was a game that, while Grand Theft Auto Teen Edition is quite a way of explaining it, it was also not Grand Theft Auto Teen Edition. You could go to classes which take the form of minigames, I should say. If done correctly, they can give you better stats or different moves and could quite generally be fun. Some of these minigames on the other hand could make you want to just drop out of the school and turn it into Grand Theft Auto right there. You get me? You had optional timed missions, meaning that you could miss them if you wanted. Some missions, they didn't give you that liberty. You could also be given side missions from other classmates in the school to boost your cred, and also plead to the main character's inner bodyguard and beat the snot out of people for them, or just to protect them. By beating the snot out of people, trying to beat the snot out of them. Snot.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run, the night goes on.
Doing these types of missions would often result in rewards, such as kisses or items, that would be useful in other missions. And best of all, you could punch someone, run away, and hide inconspicuously in a trash can that they'd never be able to see you. A sequel to Bully has often been hinted at, and each time it's hinted, it makes me want it more. Sorta like when you're not supposed to pet your dog because it's been bad, but you do it anyway. Not just me,
School.
right?
Petey, haven't you got some imaginary friends to go annoy?
Why don't you leave me alone?
The game that Sega created not long after the downward spiral after the Dreamcast. Number 1's Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg appears on the Nintendo GameCube, being released in 2003 and eventually PC and Mac in Europe in 2006. Billy Hatcher was one of those games that was great, especially for the GameCube. Although receiving average reviews, the game always stood out to me as one of the GameCube's greater exclusive games of that generation. The theme song is catchier than the common cold. The game looked great visually. I loved the intro cinematic because not only was it stunning to look at, it was also pleasant to listen to. The controls felt good, but could do with some tweaking for the trickier platforming parts as it was pretty easy to fall off, but hey, you're rolling a giant egg, what do you expect? The gameplay was fresh. The egg companions did give the game a great spin, allowing a series of playthroughs as you're trying to capture companions from each level that would be able to help you in fighting the bad guys or even give you some sort of boost. It even had cameos from other popular Sega characters such as Sonic the Hedgehog and Knights, which always confused me as I never understood how Sonic the Hedgehog could come from an egg. I suppose having Sonic team develop the game had its perks. While not in the most conventional ways of having cameos, it was still a great addition. It can be argued that it was a pretty generic action platformer, and that the story was a tad forgettable, but that's the beauty of a sequel. If it's done correctly, it should be taking the parts that were its weaknesses and turning them into its strengths. They could go deeper with the companions, allow us to make more than one companion at a time, and also different cameo characters from newer Sega IPs such as Bayonetta. Hell, make it that the second player can control the companions. Could you imagine it? One character playing as Sonic the Hedgehog and the other playing as Bayonetta. Maybe I am getting a bit ahead of myself though, but that sounds like a game worth paying for if done right. Hey guys, welcome to this point of the video. It seems to be that you have made it to the end. Congratulations. I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it because this actually took a lot of time to do, and it was quite fun to make and stuff like that, but it could get very tedious and stuff like that, not knowing if things would have been funny and that. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, remember just to leave like a like or something on the video. That would be nice to me and make me feel happy and special inside. And if you were wanting to be updated on any more videos that I make, then just like subscribe to the channel, and then that'll give you updates on anything that I do. And I'll just put links at this point to show the other types of videos that I do. One of them is just a parody video of why I say I don't play first person shooters online. I don't even know why I made that, but it was fun to make anyway. And the other one is the most recent episode from one of my let's plays of The Walking Dead Season 2 Episode 3, In Harm's Way. Fantastic episode, fantastic game to be truthful. Had a great time playing it, and I hope that the other episodes are equally as amazing. But anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.